Hello friends, welcome. In this session, we will be discussing about applicability of GST law to rental income from house property. And when I say rental income from house property, it covers both residential house property as well as commercial house property. Many of us might be having this type of income. We need to appreciate one thing first of all, that house property income is a taxable service under GST law. So consequently, tax is payable. That means GST is payable. I am going to share my screen with you right now. Just give me 1 second for this. I believe screen is shared now. You are able to see it. So as I was saying that renting of residential as well as commercial house property is treated as a supply of services under GST law. Consequently, GST is payable on this kind of services. Right. And this rental income in case of residential house property has undergone a drastic change with effect from 18 July 2022. So situation prior to 18 July 2022 was different. And the situation from 18 July 2022 is different. We will be learning the latest provisions. That means the provisions that we will be learning that is applicable from 18 July 2022 onwards. Till now, till today. Right. Now, friends, to appreciate the provisions, we need to go through certain notifications which are issued by department. See, first of all, what is relevant is the exemption notification number 12 by 2017, which was issued by 18 June 2017. That notification we need to see. Also, we need to refer to notification number 4 by 2022, dated 30 July 2022, which has amended the exemption notification. So there was an exemption notification earlier. Later on, another notification has amended that. There is one more notification, 5 by 2022, issued again on 13th July 2022, which is talking about reverse charge. Reverse charge of rental income of residential property. Here, one thing we have to keep in the mind that RCM or reverse charge mechanism is applicable to residential house property. Right. For commercial house property, whether it is applicable or not, let us see that. Let us see that. Okay. The entire notification can be summarized. We have made some attempt to summarize all these provisions. If you look at this, I think clearly you'll be able to understand. Treatment is different from commercial property and for residential property. If you look at this chart, you can understand the property can be of commercial nature and can be of residential nature. If it is a commercial property, then the summary of the provision is like this. Look at this chart now. We have to see here whether landlord is registered or not. That is the first thing. Whether landlord has taken GST registration. For GST registration, there are different threshold limits. For example, you see, this is rental income means it is a service income, right? So it will be treated as supply of services. Consequently, state-wise, different threshold limits are there. Normally, most of the states, the limit is 20 lakh rupees. If 20 lakh rupees is received, then the landlord is supposed to get himself registered under GST law. For few states like special category states like Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tripura, etc., the limit is 10 lakh rupees. But otherwise, most of the states, it is 20 lakh rupees. So if landlord is registered under GST, then 18% GST is leviable on rental income of commercial property. The landlord is supposed to give proper invoice and collect GST and deposit with the government. However, if landlord is not registered, that means landlord is not coming with this threshold limit or for any other reason landlord is not registered, then no GST is leviable on commercial property. So what is important here is the registration of landlord. Whether tenant is registered or not, that does not matter. That doesn't matter. So far as commercial house properties are concerned. Okay, so GST is not applicable on the basis of registration of tenant. It is applicable on the basis of registration of landlord. I think this point is clear. Now let us come to the other part, that is about residential house property. With effect from 18 July 2022, the situation is like this. Look at here. Here we have to see whether tenant is registered or not. If tenant is registered, then 18% GST is payable under RCM. RCM stands for reverse charge mechanism. What is reverse charge mechanism? Normally under GST law, what happens? One person is supplying, another person is receiving the goods or services. Normally, it is the supplier who is responsible to collect GST and deposit with government. We call it as forward charge mechanism. Under reverse charge mechanism, it is not the supplier, but the recipient of goods or recipient of services is responsible to pay GST. So when tenant is registered, then the responsibility is shifted to the tenant, and tenant is supposed to pay 18% GST under reverse charge mechanism. If tenant is not registered, then no GST is payable on rent of residential house property. Right? No GST is payable. That means what is relevant in case of residential house property is whether tenant is registered. It does not matter if the landlord is registered or not. GST will not depend, GST applicability will, GST levy will not depend on that. It will not depend upon landlord's registration. Landlord's registration is important when it is a commercial. So please have a look at this chart. I think clearly you will be able to understand the latest situation, which is from 18 July 2022 onwards. Okay, look at this chart. I think things will be clear to you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.